Hi teachers, this is spelling lesson 3. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to have a new poster this week with using the choice of C or K. You are going to want to go to the Pathways website with the videos and watch the video on the modeling of C or K. You're going to get a dictionary out. We have plenty in the classroom. And you're going to model this phonics lesson for the children. So make sure that you have watched this video. Um, After that, then you can go back to the spelling. You're going to talk about the 3 things that thoughtful spellers do. You're going to give them their sound dots, which you have already received. And for this lesson, this is one of the trickier phonics lessons to teach. And so I'm going to recommend that you have some note cards or pieces of paper with these 4 chunks written on them. If you do not know how to make the sound of ng, that sound, you need to go back to the Pathways to Reading website and watch the consonant letter introductions and review that one and make sure that you can make that sound appropriately. This is a tricky phonics thing to do with sound dots just because in ing and ang, the ng sound distorts the sound of I and a, and so they don't sound like the short vowel as it talks about in the lesson plans. Ong and ung are a lot easier for the kids because you can hear that short vowel really well. So we're going to modify this lesson a little bit to make it a little bit easier for you and for the children. Okay, so our first word is the word clang. And so you're going to have your letters sitting out, ready to go. You're going to ask what's the first sound in clang. They're going to say k, and you're going to ask what are the 2 ways to spell k at the beginning of a sentence, and which do we choose most often? It's going to be the C. Okay, second sound, ol. We're going to pull that down. And then instead of asking what's the next sound, you're going to sound which one of these chunks do you hear in clang? Is it ing, ang, ong, or ung? Okay, and when they say ang, you're going to say, okay, this one's tricky because it changes the sound of our A a little bit when we say it. So we're going to put the A on the 3rd sound dot, and we're going to put the ng on the 4th sound dot. Then the children are going to write that off to the side. Okay, teachers, the next word is the word thing, and it has 3 sounds. You're going to ask the children what's the first sound that you hear, and then you're going to ask them to spell that on the 1st sound dot. Watch and see if they can do the TH by themselves. Try not to prompt them. But if they have trouble, you can pull out your H Brothers poster. Most of our kiddos should be pretty proficient in this. Then you're going to ask them what the next chunk is that they hear in this word. Is it ing, ang, ung, or ong? And in this word, it's ing. And so we're going to put the I on the 2nd sound dot and the ng on the 3rd sound dot. Write that word off to the side. Then the 3rd word is long. The first sound is ol. Ask what's the 2nd sound? Ah. The 3rd sound is your and then we're going to write that word off to the side. Okay, our next word is bring. There are 4 sounds in bring. Ask your sound leader, what's the first sound? B. What's your 2nd sound? What's the chunk that we hear now? Ing, ang, ung, or ong? Okay, and so it's an ing, so we're going to put the I on the 3rd sound dot and the ng on the 4th sound dot. Okay, write that word bring off to the side. Then the next word is stung. 4 sounds. Ask your sound leader, what's the first sound you hear? S. What's the second sound you hear? T. What's the next sound you hear? What's the next sound you hear? Okay, write those off to the side. I'm going kind of fast this time because I think you guys have the idea. Okay, then we're on word number 6, and there are 5 sounds in this word. They get excited when there's 5 sounds. Ask your sound leader, what's the first sound you hear in strong? S. What's the second sound you hear? T. The third sound, fourth sound, ah, and then your fifth sound is going to be your your ng. Have them write that off to the side. Then your next word is the word find, and this is going to be a cheater word. That's why we see screech now. Okay, so we're going to pull out the letters that we need for find. What's the first sound you hear? The next sound is I. Ask the children, how would we usually spell the I sound? Normally that would be I-E. In this word, it's just an I all by itself. So we're going to highlight it because usually I does not say its name without a what's your name E. Okay, ask your sound leader, what's your third sound? N. Then what's the fourth sound? D. Okay, they're going to write that off to the side and they're going to highlight that I again. Remember, we're activating and helping their brain notice the tricky parts of the word. Okay, then you're going to do she, which is 2 sounds. What's the first sound? Sh. Okay, that's our quiet H brother. And then E is spelled with just an E. So we're going to highlight it because usually we need what's your name E to spell that. Okay, write that word off to the side, highlight that E again. Next word is cold, and there are 4 sounds in this word. So the first sound is k, and we're going to spell that with a C. You can ask them what's the other way to spell it. How do we know that it's, why would we choose a C over a K? Going back to our phonics guide of there's more C words than K words. Okay, ask your sound leader what's the next sound you hear? O. How do we usually spell O? Usually with an O-E. In this word, we're going to use just an O. So we're going to highlight it to help us remember that we don't need that what's your name E in this word. Okay, your third sound is ol, and your fourth sound is d. Write that word off to the side, highlight that O again. Okay, your last word is the word both. Okay, first sound is B, second sound is O. How do we usually spell O? Usually O-E. In this word, it's just an O. So we're going to highlight it. And then what's the third sound? And that's our H brother that sticks out his tongue. So we want to make sure that we put both of those letters on the same sound dot. 2 letters making 1 sound. Write that word off to the side. Okay, highlight that O again. All right. That's the end of that lesson. It was super fast. Again, I would make sure that you have those word family chunks with the NGs on it to start out with. I don't remember where I had those now. There they are. Have those available, and just remember that the I, ING, and the ANG, the sounds are distorted, so we've kind of modified that a little bit just to make it easier. If you guys have any questions or you need me to explain this a little slower, just feel free to let me know and I'll do it again. Sorry this is so late. I've had some construction in the house and you wouldn't have been able to hear me over the hammering, so I hope this helps, girls. Thanks.